Hello. So we have March 2025 paper with us, and we are on to question number three. Part A states explain the difference between a public good and a private good, and consider the extent to which a beach could be described as a public good. For 8 mark a question, we know that it comprises of AO1, AO2, and AO3. The marks composition are AO1, 3 marks, AO2, 3 marks, and AO3, 2 marks. 3 plus 3, 6, and 2, 8 marks. So we will establish the AO1, the AO2, and the AO3 for part A. That is question number 3, part A. First, the AO1. Like we have already studied, that is in assessment objective 1, we need to define a concept in terms of definition, in terms of example, in terms of explanation, schedule, graph, any equation for that particular matter. So this all may include in AO1. So we start with the A1, like in economics, goods can be classified into two main categories. One is public goods, the other one is private goods. The feature of public goods are that they are non-raveled, non-excludable. So with the non-ravelers, their consumption does not reduces their availability to others, and with the non-excludable, it is impossible or very difficult to exclude others from consuming them. So these were the two basic features of a public good. One is the public good, the other is the private good. The public goods feature are non-ravelious, and second is the non-excludable. Now, example of public goods may include the national defense, public parks, or even street lights that we have covered in our syllabus. Now, the private goods are, on the other hand, are goods that comprises of two features. One is de-ravelous, the other is excludable. The ravelous means the consumption reduces the availability to others, and excludable means it is possible to exclude others from consuming them. So examples of private good may include food, clothing, cars, and housing. So this is something which is relatable to A1. So answering part A, you need to have established the A1 in terms of a concept like here we have a public good and a private good. Now we move on to the extent part, and there comes the role play of analysis. Now they have specifically asked about a beach and they consider the extent to which a beach could be described as a public good. So now we can furnish our analysis in terms of public good, and the public good that has been mentioned in the question is about the beach. Okay. Now, if we consider whether a beach can be described as a public good or not, so a beach can be considered as a public good to some extent. Remember, the word extent can be described into AO3 as well in AO2, the evaluation part. AO3 is the evaluation part and AO2 is the analysis part. So now we are connecting those features that we have established in terms of public good, and to connect it to check whether the extent matches with the given good, that is the beach. Okay, if we fit into the non-ravelious thing, the many people can enjoy the beach at the same time without reducing its availability to others. Yes, it is possible. And then the idea is non-excludable, the other property of the public good. It's difficult to exclude others from accessing the beach, especially if it is a public beach, a common beach available to all. Now, however, there are some limitations. Limitations would or can be used in AO3, the evaluation part. So, how there are some limitations to considering a beach as a pure public good? Like, it could be a congestion thing. Like, if too many people visit the beach at the same time, then it could become congested, reducing its enjoyment for others. So, at the holidays, we may see the Karachi beach that we have, it's overly populated, or the eve of New Year, it's also the common thing. Second point could be the maintenance. Beach require maintenance such as cleaning and upkeep, which can be rebellious and excludable. Third point could be the access restrictions that some beaches may have restricted access, such as private beaches or beaches with limited public access. So the access could be confined to some people and confined to have some, the government might charge on it. So, what should be the conclusion? In conclusion, we may refer that while a beach shares some characteristics with public goods, it is very, it's very important that you need to conclude something with the proper justification of it. So, this concludes the evaluation part. Though in 8 marker question, it only belongs to 2 marks, but yes, the statement mentioning the conclusion or the value judgment should be there. Your opinion does matter. So, in conclusion, while a beach shares some characteristics with public goods, it is not a pure public good due to the potential for congestion, the maintenance requirements, and access restrictions. Instead, a beach can be considered a quasi public good. Quasi means virtually, almost. So, a quasi public good, which is a good that has some characteristics of public goods, but not entirely non rebellious and non excludable. So, this is the composition of March 2025, question number 3, part A. I think we have made a clear elaboration of AO1, AO2, and AO3. And yes, I wish that now you share your questions along with their answers in a PDF format, putting your name onto the top of it on your WhatsApp group. Now, moving on to March 2025, question number 3, part B. Assess the extent to which a subsidy is likely to be the best method. I emphasize the best. You should underline the word best. So, assess the extent to which a subsidy is likely to be the best method to increase the consumption of a married good. To review the concept of subsidy, a subsidy is a grant given by the government to the producers to lower down its cost, right? And within the married good, it saves the education and the healthcare. So this is the married good, and also known as the private good. So, how we establish AO1, AO2, and AO3, and how many marks they are carrying. So, in a 12 marker question, AO1 and AO2 and AO3 equally distributed into 4 marks each. A1, 4 marks, AO2, 4 marks, and AO3, 4 marks. So, AO1 means introduction or knowledge with understanding, AO2 means analysis, and AO3 means evaluation. So now let's have a look at it. So how we can establish these assessment objectives. Okay, we start with the A1 part. A subsidy can be an effective method to increase the consumption of a married good, but its suitability depends on various factors. Since, yes, you can mention the definition of a concept that is subsidy here, but yes, like you may start even with the direct questions. The examiner focuses upon assess. So assess, yes, you can start with the effectiveness of a subsidy rather than going for the definition. Okay. So in AO2, we establish the merit good first. So merit goods are goods that are considered essential or beneficial for society, but are underconsumed due to the various market failures or imperfections that you know from the theory. The examples of merit goods may include the education, the healthcare, the public transportation, or even environmental protection. Like the rationale for a subsidy. Now, you may start that you are reasoning. So within the AU2, that there comes the analysis part, and within the analysis part, it comprises of causes, event, in effect. So the event is there, consumption of a married good, and use of subsidy. So subsidy is the event, and whether it is available to increase the consumption of a married good, that we are going to look for. So rationale means logics. Logic means reasoning. So rationale for subsidy could be a subsidy can increase. This is the effect of a subsidy. A subsidy can increase the consumption of a married good by reducing the price. You may refer to the demand supply model, that is the economic model. And yes, after having a subsidy, the supply curve would be on the right hand side or the left hand side. The supply curve would be shifted onto the right hand side. That's how we are able to see the lowering of the price. So a subsidy can lower the prices of the married good, making it more affordable and attractive to consumers. I think point number one is very much clear. Increasing demand by reducing the price, a subsidy can increase the demand for the married good, lending to higher consumption. You may also have a diagram here which may refer the law of demand. When the law of demand says if there is decrease in the price, the quantity demanded increases. So when the prices of a product decreases, then the demand for the married good increases, that is leading to higher consumption. So yes, it's suitable if you draw a graph of demand and supply and showing the impact of the subsidy. Very good question, but yes, yet again we need to have a look at the question. They are asking that assess the extent to which a subsidy is likely to be the best method. They are asking whether by providing subsidy, whether there is an increase in the consumption of a married good, or in other words, whether there would not be increase in the consumption of a married good. So we are establishing both of the points in terms of a subsidy, connection with the married goods, and these are our rationales. So it's clear now. Increasing demand by reducing the price, a subsidy can increase the demand for the married good. The common point is the law of demand. You may use last but not the least is correcting market failures. We know that the market failure is a situation where free markets fails to allocate its resources efficiently. And there are certain causes, types of a market failure, among which we have uh, married goods. Like within the married goods, it is underproduced and underconsumed. So, in order to address it, the government could intervene. The government could intervene within this context. You are referring to subsidy. The other method could be the taxes, but here, like as it is being asked in the question, we need to involve the subsidy for that matter. So a subsidy can address market failures such as information asymmetry or externalities that lead to underconsumption of the married good. So when the government is seeing that there is an underconsumption of the married good, so yes, no, you have established the point, yes, by providing the subsidy, by decreasing the price, hence there could be a reduction in the consumption, and people may start to increase more of that married good. Now, on the other hand, we need to establish some of the limitations of a subsidy. So, a subsidy may not always be the best method. This is something which you need to write, hence, to justify that you are following the question. So, it is critical to know that the examiner has asked whether a subsidy is likely to be the best. So, obviously, yes, as we have already been established, then in AO2, we made an absolute comparison. And what is absolute comparison? The subsidy, the positive aspect, or the negative aspect, probably. So, this is the limitation of a subsidy. But yes, when we cover the AO3 part, then we compare subsidy with another component, could be something else like the taxes or any other thing. We will do it later on. So limitation of a subsidy could be the cost. Yes, the subsidies can be costly and may divert resources away from other important public priorities. And who will bear the cost, by the way? The government. Who will provide the subsidy? The government. So, inefficiency. The subsidies can create inefficiencies such as overconsumption or misuse of a married good. When the government is backing a good, so there is a possibility that people are over-consuming or misusing, or exploitation would be there in terms of a married good. Targeting. Subsidies may not always reach the intended target group and may benefit those who do not need them. Food voucher, for that particular case, the government, with a good intention, have distributed the food voucher to the needy people, to the less privileged persons. But if those particular group, if they sell their food voucher to some other people, so it could be having a mean that the targeting audience is not being fulfilled as of their requirement. So there is a possibility. Dependence. Subsidies can create dependence on government support rather than encouraging self-sufficiency. The self-sufficiency that a person is very down to earth and know that what are his means and can live according to it. But yes, if there's a government support and if somehow it becomes consistent, so that person becomes an idle case, a demotivated thing, since he know that the government will support him in any of the ways. So he might not be putting his part of his effort. Okay, so this include the limitation of a subsidy. Now, the possible AO3, that is the evaluation part, would be to describe the alternative methods. The alternative methods could comprise of the solution, the justification. So here it is: public education and awareness. Simultaneously, with the concept of subsidy, you may or can establish the idea of public education and awareness. And yes, it encourages the information building. Like the awareness will build more information available to a consumer. So educating consumers about the benefits of the married good can increase demand. Regulatory measures. We have discussed that the regulation or the regulator word belongs to government or economic agent government. So in Pakistan, it could be NEPRA, National Electric Power Regulatory Authority, PEMPRA, Pakistan Electronic Media Regulatory Authority. So the regulators and their role are very much evident. So regulations can create an environment that encourages the consumption of a married good. The other possible outcome could be the tax incentive. The government can use this tax incentive to encourage consumer to purchase the merit good. Vouchers. Vouchers can provide consumers with a financial incentive to purchase the merit good. Now, up to the conclusion. So, in conclusion, a subsidy can be an effective method to increase the consumption of a merit good, but its suitability depends on various factors. So, whenever you are writing a solution, attach something as a condition of it. Yes, you are making your judgment, but yes, it may carry with some of the conditions or limitations. So, but its suitability depends on various factors. So, alternative methods such as public education and awareness, regulatory measures, tax incentives, and vouchers may also be effective in increasing the consumption of a merit good. So, ultimately, the best method will depend on the specific context and characteristics of the merit good. So this is the possible construction of AO1, AO2, AO3. And yes, now it's been required that you solve it like the March 2025 question number 3, part A and part B both, and write down your name on the top of the sheet and make a PDF and forward it on a WhatsApp group. Take care. Bye bye.